Welcome to What the Fork Wednesday, the day we stop pretending life is behaving and finally talk about the moments that made us still stand still. Like, how you gonna do me like that, huh? So, if something hits you sideways, caught you slipping, or made you question every decision you made in the last 10 years, baby, pull up a chair. You're in the right place today. All right, y'all. Let me go on and ease myself into this chair because if there is was ever a Wednesday built for this show, it's this one. Okay. Welcome to What the Fork Wednesday, the day of the week where everybody drops the act and admits out loud, yep, I'm hanging on by a thread. Because listen, I don't know who designed the work week, but they had some nerve putting Wednesday dead in the middle like a speed bump with an attitude problem. Okay. Monday at least shows up and announces itself. You know, you know what you're dealing with, right? Tuesday tries to be productive, but Wednesday slides in quiet. It taps you on the shoulder and whispers, "You good?" Knowing damn well you not. Wednesday's got that sneaky little spirit where your coffee machine decides to malfunction. Your dog want to act brand new. Somebody at work sends you an email with a word per my last message in it. And right when you take a deep breath, here comes life running up talking about, "Hey girl, hold this real quick." And it hands you a whole new mess you did not order. That's the thing. Nobody prepares you for the Wednesday moments. Nobody warns you that midweek is when the universe checks your warranty and decides to run a software update on your patients. Now, nobody tells you that this is the day the devil schedules all his appointments. It's true. If something bizarre was going to happen, you bet your last dollar it's showing up on Wednesday. But that's why we gather here, right now, because this room, this space, this community, it's our midweek survival kit. It's where we take the nonsense we collected for the past 2.5 days and say it out loud before it starts leaking out our ears. And let me just say this, y'all. You come in here with a little extra energy today, okay? I feel it already. Maybe it's the Janice vibes still floating around because, y'all, that was a good show, wasn't it? It was a good one. I did good. All right. I'm proud of that one. Y'all got to go watch it, please. You should, really. Now, listen, I feel this already. Maybe it is the Janice, but maybe it's because the universe been playing too much games with me today. And giving me way too few instructions to play the game. But whatever it is, I can feel the tension and the confusion and the "I wish somebody would" hovering over the, chat already. It'd probably be me. I'm just waiting for another dude to come in here so I can kick him out. That was kind of empowering, to tell you the truth. Yeah, I'm not going to backslide on that. Okay, you know what? It's perfect because What the Fork Wednesday ain't about being polished. It ain't about pretending you're okay. It's really not about acting unbothered, okay? This is the one day of the week where you show up with your hair in a bun, your soul a little sideways, and your patience is held together with dollar store tape. And this room says, "Girl, same." Let's talk about the fact that this week has been moving funny from the jump, right? Y'all ever have one of those weeks where everything looks like it should be smooth, but every time you turn around, something tiny goes wrong? Not big. No. Tiny wrong. Just wrong enough to irritate your spirit, but not dramatic enough to justify cussing anybody clean out. Although I know we'd love to. Don't get me wrong. So now what I'm not going to do today, knowing good and well you're about to do something, because people, places, and situations be trying you since sunrise, right? Baby, that's why this show is important, because in here, you don't have to pretend. In here, you don't have to hold it together. In here, you can say, nope, not today, not me, not my ministry, not you, Satan, and not my monkey, not my circus. In here, you get to breathe again. I hope. That's what I'd like for you. And listen, after the last 24 hours, after the churn, the climb, the analytics waking up, the live showing up early like it had a key to the house, today already got a different beat to it. It does. I'm walking into this show with a little more swagger myself because I can feel that shift. She's called Janice. Go watch it. I'm serious. You'll love it. And you know how I know the energy is right? Because even with all the nonsense life tried to toss at me, I'm still sitting here smiling like, let's go. We ready, right? Here I am. And here you are. I'm happy you're here. So yeah, welcome to What the Fork Wednesday. We're going to laugh. We're going to vent. We're going to side-eye together. Y'all got your glasses on. Come on, we can do this. And we're going to walk out of here lighter than we came in. That's my hopes for you. Oh, thanks. My name's not Kathy. Bye. Anyway, now, since we've taken the trash out and already agreed. See, I knew somebody would come in and test me today. It's Wednesday. Whatever. Let's go on and slide into my mess for a second. The other mess, not this one. Because y'all know, I don't come in here acting perfect. No, no ma'am. No sir. If anything, I'm the first one to say, let me tell you what just tried to take me out. It's true. And listen, I had one of those moments. One of those sit yourself down, blink real slow, stare at the wall type of moments where your brain just shuts down like, nope, I'm not processing that today. Like Skywire 3D, who just got banned. Not processing that. Don't have to. Not my job. You are certainly not my monkey. Okay, so try again tomorrow, please. You ever have something happen that ain't big enough to ruin your life, but is big enough to ruin your morning attitude? Something so small, but so stupid that you just stand there like, now I know this ain't what we doing. I know this is not my life, not my watch, not on my show, Skywire 3D. Leave me be. And the worst part, it always happens when you think you're on top of things. I mean, you couldn't have been here at a better time, dude. Do you ever notice that, though? I'm sitting here thinking, man, What the Fork Wednesday was pretty good last week. This is going to go really good this week. I'm so stoked and all this stuff. And not even the first 10 minutes somebody in here trying to troll me. I love you trolls. You give me so much fire behind my show. Seriously, I love it. Y'all come on in. Now, all right, I got this. Look, here comes life around the corner with a little speed bump just for me, right? A personalized inconvenience, a custom-made irritation named Skyward. Skywire 3D, whatever that means. And when it hit me, well, baby, it was a full-on what the fork moment. The kind where you look around like you're expecting hidden cameras. It's the kind where you almost want to call customer service on the universe. Like, hi, yes, I'd like file a complaint, universe isn't spinning my way. Could you fix that, please? Yeah. So pull up, uh, pull up a chair, y'all. I'm about to tell you just how it went down. Okay. And trust me, you're going to feel this one in your spirit. All right. Now, let me go on and break it down a little bit because the way this week tried to set me up, hilarious, absolutely hilarious. Now, I've been running on fumes the last few days, the last few months, right? Not empty, just fumes. Like the little gas light wasn't blinking anymore. It just gave up and said, "Good luck, girl." That's it. And I'm sorry, but that's probably, I should go back and say, years, because that's just how I roll. I'm a workaholic and I've also got ADHD, which makes me work on 50,000 things without finishing them first. So I do try. I do. I really try. But I finally get myself together, I get some sleep, not great sleep, but better than nothing, right? And I wake up telling myself, okay, B, today we're going to be productive. Today we're going to breathe. And you know what? Today the universe is going to mind its business because I got work to do. And I don't mean the iron sharpening iron universe, which you should definitely go see. Yeah. Okay. Today I'm going to be productive. No. I said that with my whole chest. And the universe said, bet. First thing in the morning, I'm already moving slow. Okay. It's just a given. I'm old. I've accepted that the best way I'm going to. But okay, so I grabbed my laptop, right? Feeling good, feeling hopeful. Open up Canva like it's about to do a big thing, and boom, it glitched again. Thank God I was done with Janice already. But I was working on the next one. Yeah. This thing glitched again like it caught a demon in the wiring. Okay. I'm talking black screen kind of glitch, rainbow wheel, everything freezing like it owed somebody. Okay. And I'm staring at it like, again, really? How are you going to do me like this? I literally just got out of bed. Let me live, please. Let me live. I just need to do my job. And you know what? When something technical goes wrong first thing in the morning, it hits different. It hits you right in your soul. I don't even, it doesn't just irritate your mind. It irritates your whole spirit, your whole being, because now you're sitting here like, oh Lord, this is the tone for the day. Please don't let this be the tone for the today. But no, I breathed, take a deep, deep breath, stayed calm. I restart the whole thing like a responsible adult would do. And baby, when it came back on, I realized the one file, the single bitty file that I needed, just like yesterday, the one file I spent hours on last night, the one that had me crying, pacing, praying, was missing, gone, deleted again. Can you believe I've gone through this 2 days in a row now? I just sat there with my mouth open for a good 10 seconds, right? Just, are you kidding me? Not moving, not blinking, just processing the betrayal, okay? Because I put work into that. And it happened for the second time now. I put heart into that and it's gone again. I sacrificed sleep for that. And now Canva wants to act like it didn't know me. Oh, no. Oh, hell no. Mm-mm. So here I am, sitting like some abandoned character from, a telenovela, whispering to the ceiling, you cannot be serious right now. I know you guys have done that too. Believe me. I know you've done it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You've done it, right? You cannot be serious right now. I am flipping through the folders, going to try and find the trash yet again, because for some reason, they keep moving this stuff on Canva. I don't know why. I love you, Canva. You've been a great friend, but I like the tools that I pay for to work, right? Yeah. Okay, I'm already rewriting my whole day in my head, thinking, okay, well, here we go. And this time I really lost it. And then I checked one more spot, one more teeny tiny spot, because at this point I am just so desperate. And guess what was freaking sitting there, people? Perfect, untouched, working better than ever, like it had just taken a little spa vacation. Do you understand the rage and the relief that hit me at the same time? I almost passed out. Yeah. I went from funeral service to family reunion in 3 seconds. And honey, I'm a redneck. Okay. I said, oh, so now you want to act right after I already mourned you and the one before just yesterday. After I emotionally drained and questioning my calling, now you want to show up like you never left. Just like your sister did yesterday. Y'all, I'm feeling played. I'm feeling played. I felt spiritually punked. And I just sat there like, is this my life? Is this my storyline? But here's where it gets even more ridiculous. Because now that my file is magically back from the dead, I'm feeling myself again. I'm thinking, okay, maybe today ain't so bad after all. Maybe the universe was just warming up, so I go to make my coffee. Y'all, I don't know who needs to hear this, but the devil absolutely lives inside household appliances, okay? Because that coffee machine took one look at me and said, no, it sputtered, it clicked. It made that little choking sound like it swallowed a Lego. And do you remember yesterday's story? How my coffee machine had messed up? Yeah, this was a new one. Yeah. Hadn't even made a pot of coffee yet. I put it on the counter this morning. I mean, it spits out half a cup of coffee, right? Not even enough to drink, but just enough to piss me off. Now I'm standing in the kitchen holding this sad little half cup like, how am I supposed to survive this today? What am I supposed to do with this? Sip it like it's communion? Fine, whatever. At this point, I'm already numb. Okay. Hey, Patty. The devil is alive and well in your freezer. I can relate. I hear you, honey. I hear you. And Olga, is that you, honey? I'm so good to see. It's so good to see you, honey. Olga Furt. Yes? All right. Oh. So I sit down, half caffeinated, emotionally unstable, and ready to work. And then I start noticing everything around me acting up. Coffee. Yes, good coffee. You okay, Olga? I think we got a little bit of a thing going on with your phone, sweetie. I'm so happy you're here, though. Okay. I sit down, half caffeinated, right? Emotionally unstable, ready to work. And then I start noticing everything around me just acting completely off. The phone's glitching. What? Notifications coming in late. Wi Fi stuttering like it's shy. StreamYard suddenly decides it wants to think about things before it loads up. I'm sitting there like, okay, who hacked my life? Who unplugged something important? Who touched the universe router? Sorry, that's my dogs. I have to slap the bed at to get them to stop. And then here comes the cherry on top, and it's not the dogs this time. I go check my analytics, thinking, hi there, Big Jack. Good to see you too. I got you, Ogard. I'm not sure which one you are. I think it's Ogafert. I don't know what you're saying, honey, but you're spamming me. Anyway, y'all, the long form. Okay, hold up. The cherry on top. I go to check my analytics, thinking maybe I'll get a little dopamine, right? Yeah, because things have been going so good. Maybe something will smile at me today. And y'all, the long form is climbing. The live is already showing up. The clips are working. And I'm just sitting here exhausted over it, annoyed, looking like someone who got dragged through chaos just to arrive at a blessing. And that's when it hit me. This is exactly what the Fork Wednesday is about. You get dragged, you get irritated, everything breaks down, nothing makes sense. And then something good pops up out of nowhere like, hey girl, don't be mad. Look what I did. Ugh, I swear, some days life feels like a toxic relationship that just it keeps buying you nice gifts, right? So yeah, that's been my week. A whole saga. Can I shout out your friend Nick Carmiel? He is a big fan. I hope I said his name right. Here, I'll even put you up on the screen. Can you shout out my friend Nick? Hey, Nick. Good to see you. I'm so happy you're a fan. How's that? Will that work for you, my dear? I'm happy you're here too. Wow, that's cool. All right, that just gave me a boost. Let's go. So yeah, that's been my week. It's like a whole saga, a whole emotional roller coaster, right? A whole buffet of nonsense with the side of miracles. And now that I've survived that, we can go on and get into your nonsense, okay? Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Now then. Wow, isn't that nice? You know what? Tell Nick goodbye. See ya. We don't do gum jobs here. Unreal. Y'all, people, give me a break. You know what? I don't know who you are, but I really, really wish you'd chill. Anyway, y'all ain't messing me up. I know you think you're trying, and with Fork Wednesday, sure. He's a W. What's a W? A weirdo? A Wednesday? Yes, that's what he is. I'm not sure who you are. I don't think you're who I think you are. And if you're not, you probably need to go somewhere else. Okay? We're not talking about gum jobs on this show. Thank you. Now then, what I've unpacked. Okay, look, I have your bless your heart letter. I don't know why we're going through all this mess right now, but it's probably because it's Wednesday, right, y'all? Okay. Not that I've unpacked the circus that tried to take me out this week. Now that you people got me ready to duke it out. Okay, don't look away now. Don't sip that coffee too fast, okay, because I see you. You ever notice how right when you finally catch your breath, somebody else in your life or your chat pops up holding a whole emotional suitcase they packed in your closet? And they say it real sweet too. B, can I talk to you? And that's when you know Somebody's about to hand me a problem they already tried to fix with duct tape and denial. Now, my loves, that is where Bless Your Heart comes in. I'm trying to get my brain back about me, y'all. This is the part of the show where we take somebody's confusion, somebody's frustration, somebody's now I know I ain't crazy moments, and we break it down with honesty, humor, and a little bit of healing truth. Because today's letter, oh baby, this one's got layers. They always do, but this one's got layers. The kind of situation where you want to pat somebody gently on the shoulder and say, sweetheart, I don't know who lied to you, but it's time to stop letting folks play in your face. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Big Jack. I appreciate that. I truly do. So let's go on and open it up anyway. Let's see who wrote in today, and let's see what kind of nonsense life threw their way this week. And yes, you guys, it's another AI letter because I got to save my voice. I can't, as wives, we want to do the best we can for our husbands, but giving up my voice is not one of the things I'm prepared to do, even though that's probably his most biggest ask of me. Nope, we're doing it this way, though. Are y'all ready? We got our Bless Your Heart letter. Here we go.
Dear B. Girl, I need you to grab some holy water, a notepad, and maybe a lawyer, because I'm about to tell you about the circus living in my guest room. I invited my cousin to stay with me for a few days, while she looked for a job and got herself back on track. You already see where this going, don't you? Well, a few days has turned into 2.5 weeks, and she has made herself so at home I'm starting to feel like I'm the guest. She been in my kitchen rearranging stuff I paid for, changing my spices around like she Gordon Ramsay, moving my plates to help me flow better, and labeling my pantry shelves with sticky notes like I'm in kindergarten. And the worst part? She cooks big meals, and don't clean a damn thing. Not one pot, pan, not even the counter she messed up. When I try to hint that she's overstaying, she hits me with, you know God put me here for a reason. I'm helping you get organized. Girl, if this is God's plan, I need to see the rough draft. I told her I need the house quiet in the mornings because I work from home. She said she's claiming the living room in Jesus' name, and turns on YouTube sermons at full volume at 6:45 a.m. like she paying rent. And to top it all off, she invited somebody over last night without even asking me. Not family, not a friend, some man she met at Walmart buying rotisserie chicken. B. Am I wrong for wanting to pack her bags for her? Because if she cooks one more meal and leaves one more pot in my sink, I'm about to lose my religion and my housing stability. Signed, please evict my cousin in Jesus' name.
Okay. Wow, y'all. I'm going to have to take that banner off. I don't know why that banner has a problem. All right. Sweetheart, let me go on ahead and settle myself before I unpack this, because the level of chaotic energy coming off that letter is the kind of thing that starts as a funny story, but by the end, it has your blood pressure tap dancing on your forehead. Okay. And what struck me first wasn't even the cousin. It was you sitting there in your own home, feeling like you needed to shrink into a corner just to keep the peace with someone else. Spread themselves out like they were auditioning for a documentary called How I Took Over a House in 12 Days or Less. And that feeling you've been holding in, that slow creeping exhaustion that shows up when you start tiptoeing around someone who's supposed to be a guest in your own home, that right there is already the sign that your boundaries have been stretched to the point of thinning out, because nobody should be living in their own home feeling like they need permission to exhale. Okay? Now, that kitchen situation, oh Lord, have mercy. I feel that one in my soul. Okay? There is something deeply intimate about the space where you cook, not because of the pots or the pans or the seasonings, not because it's where your daily rhythm lives. Okay. You know exactly where the paprika is, unless your daughter gets in there and makes a mess of the spice rack. Sorry, went off on my own tangent again. But you know where the paprika is, right? Not just because you placed it there, but because it belongs there in the flow of your life. And when someone wanders in to that space and starts rearranging things without even asking, that's not helpful. That is intrusive. Call it what it is. It's someone trying to impose their order on a space that doesn't belong to them. I mean, hence the word guest. Absolutely, absolutely, Patty. Losing My Religion. That is a good song. I need to cover that one, don't I, honey? Wow. I'm gonna write that one down. But all hell no is right. No, no, no. And when somebody wanders into that space and starts rearranging, it's crazy. It's someone trying to take your space. It creates this subtle, constant irritation because now every time you reach for something, it's not where your body expects it to be. Bye-bye. That's another one. I don't care. I'll kick you all. Be nice or be gone. Now, as they shift things around, what they're really shifting is your ability to move comfortably in your own environment. And it creates this subtle, constant irritation because now every time you reach for something, it's not where your body expects it to be, right? I expect it to be there. I do. It's the psychological equivalent of stepping off the last stair you didn't know wasn't there. How many times have y'all done that? I know I've done that a couple of dozen times just in the last week. Heck, just on last Sunday when I was working. When a grown adult prepares a whole meal in someone else's house and then leaves the aftermath sitting there like a crime scene waiting for investigators, what they're communicating loud and clear is that they expect you to complete the task they start. That's not just inconsiderate, that's entitlement. That's someone who has assessed your kindness and decided it means she'll handle it. No, no. It places you in the position of the caretaker while, hi, niecey plus sister. Good to see you, doll. I missed you this week. You doing okay? My opinion about Black people, I will tell you, they bleed the same color I do. That's all you need to know. I love all colors. Okay, and then we get to the sunrise sermons, honey. Nobody, and I mean nobody who respects the home they are staying in wakes up before the sun, stomps into the living room, and starts blasting the gospel like they are the opening act for a revival tour. Okay, honey, I'm glad you're okay. Yes, I do think it's a pretty general statement. I also think it's off topic. And if you knew who I worked with on YouTube, you would understand that I don't have to say a word. I don't have to answer that question. And if you're here to ask me these questions to try and get me riled up, it's not going to work. I'm here to do a show. Okay. You don't want more than a general statement, go find somebody else that doesn't mind spouting off crap that is not on the same topic as their show. Now, thank you. Drive through. All right. So it volume. I want y'all to hear this one. I'm going to pull this one out real good. Okay. Volume is a form of dominance. It fills a room before anyone else gets the chance to. When someone uses noise like that, what they're really doing is claiming territory. Trying to anyway. Now, because people who feel like guests have like guests, they stay quiet, they stay aware, they stay considerate. People who feel like owners make noise without checking, yeah, boots, big boots. I'll take boots. I like boots. But, people who feel like owners make noise without checking. This woman has transitioned out of guest energy and fully into I live here now energy. Okay. And she wrapped it in religion to make you feel guilty for noticing. Now, baby, when I got to the Walmart, man, I had to sit back in my chair, y'all, because that is not just inconsiderate. That is reckless. Bringing a stranger into your home, a man she met buying a rotisserie chicken. And if your space is a public lobby and not the place where you eat, sleep, work, exist, that is a violation on a whole different level. Your home is your protection. It is your sanctuary. It is your boundary between you and the rest of the world. When she walked someone into that space without your consent, she wasn't just crossing a line, she was erasing it. She made a choice on your behalf in a place where she had no authority. Okay. And here is the truth we need to talk about. She knows exactly what she's doing. People don't slide into comfort by accident, okay? They ease their way in. One small assumption at a time. First, it's moving things in the kitchen, then cooking and not cleaning, then taking over the morning soundscape, then inviting people over. And before you realize it, she has promoted herself from temporary guest to owner of the property. Meanwhile, you're the one shrinking into corners, adjusting your routine, biting your tongue, trying not to explode because you don't want to be the bad guy, right? But here's what you need to remember, please. Enforcing a boundary does not make you the villain in somebody else's story. It makes you the protector of your own. And there comes a moment in every situation like this where your spirit starts whispering first, then nudging, then shouting, I cannot live like this, right? And that is where you are. You are not being mean. You're not being impatient, and you're not lacking compassion. Family squatter. There you go. That's a good word for it. I like that term. You are simply walking up to the realization that your home has become a place where your comfort is secondary to someone else's convenience. That's not what we do. We don't do that, right? You have given her generosity. You have given her safety. You've given her space to regroup, and she has taken all of those gifts and built herself a throne. No, now it's time to take your house back. You can sit her down in a calm voice, not an angry voice, not a frustrated voice, just calm and firm, and say, this was temporary, okay? And temporary has ended. You need to make arrangements to go somewhere else. You don't need to justify it. You don't need to soften it, okay? You don't need to negotiate it. And you're not sending her into the wilderness. You're sending her out of a situation she has already abused. You want to solve God better by staying single or saying single forever. I don't think that's the answer, but here's the thing. You are your own person, and if you think that's best, then I'm proud of you for finding what you want to do with your life. Okay? Now, the minute you reclaim your space, the minute you say out loud that what your spirit has been begging you to say. You're going to feel the air change in your house. That weight on your chest will lift, okay? That irritation humming under your skin, it'll ease, okay? That weight on your chest is going to lift off. It is. Seriously, peace will return to its rightful place in your home because peace knows when it is welcome and when it has been suffocated. You know that. You deserve to feel safe, comfortable, and in control in the space where you live, where you created. Your cousin has shown you she cannot coexist with your boundaries, and that means it's time for her to go. I'm sorry, it seems kind of harsh. It really does. But she'll thank you for it later. And yes, that sounds cliche, but it's true, right? It's true. That's how it goes. Now, every time we finish one of those bless your heart letters, I always feel that shift inside me, that moment where everything goes from loud and chaotic and funny to, something quieter, something that sits deeper under the skin. And I think that shift is important because life is not made out of one kind of story. And I think that shift, it shows you which is which. We get the wild ones that make us shake our heads and laugh because, good Lord, people out here doing anything they can, but what they should. Then we get the ones that don't make noise at all. The ones that creep into your life slowly, like, dust settling on shelves and you didn't realize hadn't been touched in a while. So those are the gravel road moments, right? The ones where you can't dance around the situation or joke in a way or pretend it's not happening. These are the stories written by people who are tired, people who have been carrying something so long it's shaped their posture. People who wake up every day knowing they have to push through something heavy that nobody else sees. And I think there's a different kind of bravery in that. Not the bravery of standing up to somebody loud, okay? But the bravery of waking up every morning and convincing yourself to keep going, even when the road feels like it's made of broken glass and the world keeps asking you to walk barefoot. That's why we do this segment, okay? Because somebody out there has been holding their breath through a situation they don't know how to escape from, and they're not looking for entertainment. They're looking for direction. And if there is one thing about a gravel road, it's that it's never pretty. It's never smooth. But if you follow it long enough, if you listen to your own footsteps on it, eventually it leads somewhere softer. So let's go ahead and open today's gravel road letter with that in mind, because whoever wrote this didn't send it for laughs, okay? They sent it because they're standing somewhere they don't want to stay. And they're hoping we can help them figure out which way the road bends next. Here's your gravel road.
Dear B, I've reached a point where the silence in my own home feels louder than anything I could say out loud. I've been married for 12 years, and for most of that time I thought we were solid, not perfect, not movie perfect, but steady enough that I could trust the ground I was standing on. But over the past year something has shifted, not suddenly, not in one big explosion, but in these small, almost unnoticeable ways that started adding up until I realized I was living with someone who barely speaks to me anymore. We don't argue, we don't fight, we barely even disagree, we just don't talk. He comes home, gives me a tired smile, eats dinner quietly, and disappears into the bedroom or onto his phone. And I've been telling myself he's stressed, he's tired, it's work, it's life, it's everything except the thing I'm afraid it might be. That he's drifting away from me and doesn't know how to say it. I keep trying to bring things up gently, asking how he's feeling, trying to open the door, but he gives me these short answers that feel polite but empty, like he's keeping me at arm's length because he doesn't want to start a conversation he doesn't know how to finish. And in the meantime, I'm sitting in a house I used to feel safe in, wondering if the person I built a life with is slowly pulling away one quiet day at a time. I don't know if I'm imagining it. I don't know if I'm overthinking, and I don't know how to ask him what's wrong without sounding scared, but I am scared. I'm scared of waking up one day and realizing he left emotionally long before he ever left physically. I'm scared that if I push too hard, he'll retreat even more. I'm scared that if I stay quiet, nothing will change. And I'm tired of guessing, tired of tiptoeing, tired of feeling alone next to someone I love. B. I don't want to lose my marriage, but I don't know how to reach him anymore. Signed, still here but feeling invisible.
All right. Well, sweetheart, let me just take a breath with you for a minute because that's a lot. Listen, when I read your letter, what struck me immediately, it wasn't fear or panic or even the sadness, okay? It was the exhaustion underneath every single word. The kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from yelling or fighting or trying to fix something that's broken, right? But from sitting in silence with somebody you love and slowly realizing that silence, it has become its own separate room in the house. And what makes that kind of quiet so heavy is that there's no clear villain, no obvious movement that you can point to and say that's when everything changed. Instead, the change drips in slowly, one missed conversation at a time, until you realize you've been standing in emotional fog for months. Still trying to remember when the sun last felt warm on your face. Listen, living in that kind of distance, that slow creeping separation where nothing is technically wrong, but nothing feels right anymore. That's one of the loneliest places a person can sit. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You know I don't. Because you're not grieving something that ended. You're grieving something that's fading. And that is a different kind of heartbreak entirely. And the part that pulled me the most wasn't that your husband has gotten quiet. People get quiet sometimes. Life gets heavy. Work drains them. Stress stacks up. But what hit me was how you've been shrinking yourself in response to that quiet, trying to make room for him, even though he isn't giving you anything to understand. That's the part that wears a person down. And when you're trying to read signals that were never communicated, trying to decode emotions that he won't share, trying to love someone through a wall you didn't build, that's the worst feeling in a marriage. And it's not anger, it's not conflict, it's not disagreement, it's uncertainty. It's that constant second guessing, right? Did I do something? Did something change? Is he hurting? Am I losing him? You're trying to fill in blanks that he doesn't even seem to notice he's leaving behind. And that puts you in the position of carrying the emotional weight for both of you, which no marriage can sit comfortably on for long. But let me say something that I hope sinks in gently. People don't emotionally withdraw for no reason. Okay. Sometimes they withdraw because something is wrong inside them that they don't know how to articulate. Sometimes they withdraw because they're overwhelmed, overstimulated, burnt out, and the thought of one more conversation, even with someone they love, it feels like running a marathon on tired legs. And sometimes, yeah, the withdrawal, because they are drifting away emotionally. Not because they stopped loving you, but because they don't know how to reconnect with themselves, much less with you. Now, silence can come from deep hurt. We know this. Or deep confusion, deep avoidance. And the heartbreaking part is that partners feel that silence like rejection, even when it wasn't meant that way. Now, here is what you need to hear clearly. You are not losing your mind. No, ma'am, you're not. You're not imagining things. You're not being dramatic. We're noticing the emotional shift between you and your husband when you love someone deeply and share a life with them. You feel changes in their energy faster than anybody, right? You can read them better than they can read themselves. If something feels different, it is different. Even if he can't or won't say it yet, your intuition is not overreacting. Your intuition is responding to the emotional climate of your home. And you've been trying to approach him gently, hoping softness will draw him out, hoping kindness will open him up, hoping that patience will encourage him to take the first step. Those are beautiful instincts. But the problem is this: you cannot bridge a gap that you are on. And you're not the only one acknowledging that it exists. You cannot fix a conversation that one person refuses to enter. Big Jack says sometimes people want to talk, not debate or preach to. Very true. Very true. You know, and I say this about men: you can't drop things on them, and because it's an overload. There are women out there too. Me, you can't drop a whole bunch of stuff on me either. It's just on top of ADHD. That's like putting sugar cubes on top of a mountain of sugar. It just don't work, and it just makes it worse. And it makes me ping further. It's just, those are beautiful instincts. Seriously. You can't fix that conversation. Jesus saves. Amen. But that doesn't mean the marriage is over either, okay? It doesn't mean he doesn't love you. What it means is this: silence has become the third person, okay? The third person in your relationship. And silence is greedy, y'all. It feeds on avoidance. It feeds on fear and misunderstanding. And the longer two people avoid addressing the quiet between them, the more that quiet becomes the dominant language of the house. You're not fighting your husband. You're fighting the habit of not talking. So, what do? You stop walking on eggshells. You stop tiptoeing around the truth because you're afraid the truth might confirm your fear. And listen, instead, you meet him at the place where honesty lives, not the dramatic, confrontational kind, okay? Not the emotional outburst, but the steady human kind. You say something like, I feel distance between us and I miss you. I'm not accusing you. I'm not blaming you. I'm asking you to let me into whatever you've been carrying because I don't want us to drift further apart without understanding why. It's not hard. You keep the focus on connection, not confrontation. Fear pushes people away. Vulnerability, it brings people together, okay, and closer. And right now, what he needs from you is not a demand for answers, but an invitation back into the relationship. That sounds crazy. I know it does, but it's true. Okay? May 9th, 1992. That's the day I was married to my one and only husband that I am still married to now. I can tell you with much confidence, it's not as hard as you make it on yourself. Let me tell you something else, okay? Men, especially men raised to equate emotional expression with weakness, often retreat into silence when they don't know how to name their feelings. They shut down. Not because they don't love their partner, but because they don't have the language to process what's happening inside them. Okay? They don't. Okay, time out. That doesn't excuse the behavior, okay? But explains why pushing them too hard, too fast can make them retreat even further. It's not that he doesn't want connection. It's that he doesn't know how to reopen the door he closed. So your approach, it has to be tender but direct. I'm here, I love you, but this silence is hurting us, and I need us to talk about what's going on. Very non-confrontational. But here's the part that requires courage, okay? You have to be prepared for what truth comes out of that conversation. It may be about work, stress, depression, burnout, personal struggles he has kept to himself. Or it may be about the marriage itself, about emotional shifts he didn't know how to express, whatever it is. You need clarity more than you need comfort right now. Because living in emotional limbo is more painful than any truth he could tell you. Even if the truth is hard, once it's spoken out loud, you can do something with it. You can work together. You can rebuild. You can heal, but you can't fix silence. Silence doesn't tell you where to start. And sweetheart, let me tell you something else. I'm going to try and ease this fear that you may not have said, but I know is sitting in the back of your heart. The fact that you're hurting does not mean the marriage is failing. The fact that you're scared doesn't mean it's ending, for sure. The fact that you feel invisible right now, it does not mean you're unloved. It means something is out of alignment, and the two of you need to turn towards each other, and instead of away, okay? Turn towards each other. Emotional distance does not have to it doesn't have to be permanent if both people decide to meet in the middle. And sometimes what looks like detachment is really a person drowning quietly, hoping someone will notice they're underwater. What you deserve, what every partner deserves, is to feel chosen and seen and emotionally safe. If your husband has retreated and if he still loves you, then all he is waiting for is a moment where he can step back into connection without feeling like he's walking into conflict. Yes, Big Jack, you're right. Sometimes nothing going on means nothing is going on. Yes, if they tell you, look, if a woman tells you yes or no, there's something not going on or whatever, nothing's going on, then you don't believe that. But if a man tells you that, you wholeheartedly, with your full chest, believe it. He's telling you the truth because that's where he's at. And it could be something that he doesn't even want to worry you with, or it could be absolutely nothing at all. And asking him 20 times a day, well, that turns it into a problem. God, why are you asking me? I told you 10 times already. I'm fine. There's a whole new argument. And just because you thought you were being compassionate and caring, no, you were being annoying, nagging. It's true. If if this is all important to him too, if he loves you, he truly has pulled away emotionally and is afraid to say so. And then your courage is starting this conversation with, will still save. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Listen, clarity is not the enemy, okay? Uncertainty is. And right now, the greatest gift you can give yourself is the truth, period. No matter what it is. You are not invisible. You're not imagining things, and you're not alone. And this moment, as painful as it is, can be the turning point where both of you learn how not to stop, or how to stop living next to each other and start living with each other again, right? But it begins with one brave, honest conversation, one that invites him back into the marriage instead of waiting for him to remember how to knock. Ladies, let's be honest, because, man knocks on the door, and half the time we're pulling the knocker out of their hand and saying, wait your turn. Okay? Let's be honest. As women, as homemakers, there are a lot of things that we do. And, mothers, grandmothers, homeschoolers, stuff like that. There's a lot of things you got on your mind. But let me tell you something. A man's mind works as this. The one single solitary thing that he needs to do right at that moment is what he focuses on. That's what he's trained himself to do, so that there are no problems in his woman's life. Y'all need to remember that. Y'all need to remember his father trained him like this, because that's the way him and his mother were, or his mother and his father were. Y'all need to remember that this is pre-programming. And if you want to reprogram, you got to talk to the user first. You can't just do an update and think they're going to get it. Okay? Big Jack says, don't wait until he is in the middle of doing something to start a conversation. Amen. 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 And you know what? The best thing to do in any kind of situation is just when you have time. It's okay to ask for time from somebody. Don't ask them when you know they're busy, obviously. But hey, when you're not busy, do you mind if we have a talk? And don't make it sound like it's going to be one of those, when somebody says, hey, I need to talk, the first thing that comes to my mind is, oh, hell, what now? Right? Don't make it one of those moments. Hey, I just need to chit chat for a few things with you when you have time, or something like that. Don't make it so heavy. Every time I turn around, I'm catching myself before I walk in and say something to my husband. I will stop and I will remind myself that, hey, that sounds like a conflict waiting to happen. How about say it differently? You owe yourself, period. You owe yourself the right to stop and think about what you're going to say before you say it. That is the easiest, most God-given talent any person in this world has. And 90% of the world, no, I'm not even going to put statistics on that. Look, not all these people do it. They should, but they don't. I'm encouraging you to, because especially if you want your marriage to last. Because let me tell you, I have not had a beautiful, wonderful fairy tale wedding or marriage, and nobody should. Okay, that's boring, number one. And if you can't grow together, right? So you have to start, and first thing first, find your issue, find your biggest issue, and then work on that. And you don't have to fix it overnight. You don't even have to fix it in the next few minutes. These are things you have to learn how to see the little things in. Okay, you've got to find the little things in all this. Otherwise, it's just gonna explode, and you're not gonna survive it. You're just not. 35 years in marriage. I love my husband with every single ounce of my being. I do. We still have our problems, and we're still gonna have our problems. We just have to try and make those wow moments outweigh all the others. And they do. They do. When you stop and think about it, they do. And, I also encourage that if you're having a moment where you just can't breathe, sit down and think about, I don't know, if you've got a kid, think about the day they were born. Sit down and think about that first birthday or that first grandchild. Give yourself 5 minutes to think about something good in your life, so that what is so bad does not outweigh all that stuff. You've got to take a deep breath and stop putting yourself in that kind of position, All right, y'all. Oh, that one's a rough one because, there's been times that my husband and I, we weren't so close. And there were times where we split up and we got back together. And even though we thought, when we got back together, hey, this is going to work and everything, we still have problems. Guess what? Those problems were still there even after being apart for a little while. And that's okay. Because guess what? It's still one of those things that you have to learn with your partner in order to keep the marriage going. Just because you leave somebody, it doesn't mean the marriage has ended there. It doesn't. Okay, I'm living proof. My husband and I have split up and for years apart. Okay. I'm not sugarcoating nothing. And I'm being honest. My husband and I, we've been split up for 3 years before. But you know what? We keep finding our way back to each other. And you know what else? When we do, even no matter how it being 3 years apart, the problems were still there when I come back. When he came back, when we came back, they were still there. They still had to be talked about. So stop for a minute. Take a breath. Say what you got to say. Don't sit on it. Don't be confrontational with it. Don't toss it on top of him while he's in the middle of the work week, okay? Take a minute and breathe and talk about it. Don't fight about it. Don't debate about it. Talk. Communication is key. 35 years, I'm telling you, communication is key. So, all right, before I wind this episode down completely, I want to take a moment and remind everybody here why this space even exists, okay? And what we're building together, because every single day at noon, whether we're laughing ourselves silly, okay, on Petty Monday, shaking our heads on What the Fork Wednesday, digging deep on Gravel Road, or getting blessed and roasted on Bless Your Heart. It all comes back to the same thing. This community shows up, okay? It shows up. And I'm so proud to be a part of it and have you all with me, okay? Now, I lost my place. I'm sorry. Yes, this one's scripted. You show up for the stories. You show up for the wisdom. You show up for the chaos. And most importantly, you show up for each other. Seriously. And if you're new here, or if you've been watching quietly in the back, this is your moment to step a little closer to the table. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a single day, because we do this live Monday through Monday through Friday at noon. I just changed all that because Saturday is Jukebox Journey. And every show has its own flavor, its own rhythm, its own little piece of healing wrapped up in humor and truth. And don't forget, the AskABee letters are always open. If you've got something weighing on you, something you're confused about, something that, your mama wouldn't let you ask at Sunday dinner, or something that just needs a little boss bee perspective, send it on in, okay? Just send it on in. It's BBTV Productions 1@gmail.com, okay? And I'm going to see if this is going to, watch it, it's going to slow me down again. I'll just do this one. Here, we'll do this one. That one right there, okay? Because it is true. BBTV is just one galaxy in the iron sharpening iron universe. And please make sure you check them out, okay? All our galaxies are spinning. Big Jack, Walt Talks, Mom Lions, and yours truly. I really hope you enjoyed this show today. And as I'm going to wrap it up, I just want to let this moment settle the way a good conversation does, okay? It's not rushed, not pushed aside, but given enough room to breathe so you can carry a little bit of it with you when you go today. Now, I'm so sorry. I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, same hour, same beat energy. And until then, you guys, let's all grow and glow together. Right, Big Jack? Love you. Bye.
How you like that?